Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. From Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 204 and onwards. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ومن الناس من يعجبك قوله في الحياة الدنيا ويشهد الله على ما في قلبه وهو ألد الخصام وإذا تولى سعى في الأرض ليفسد فيها ويهلك الحرث والنسل والله لا يحب الفساد وإذا قيل له اتق الله أخذته العزة بالإثم فحسبه جهنم ولبئس المهاد ومن الناس من يشري نفسه ابتغاء مرضات الله والله رؤوف بالعباد يا أيها الذين آمنوا ادخلوا في السلم كافة ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين فإن زللتم من بعد ما جاءتكم البينات فاعلموا أن الله عزيز حكيم. Among the people there are those who apparently say very good words. Seems this is talking about some politicians. It matches very well about politicians and state leaders. يعجبك قوله في الحياة الدنيا. He is very good and eloquent in speech, says very good words, talks about very big things, about development, about uplifting the social and economic status of the population and bringing peace and this and that, and he might be even given a Nobel Prize in peace and all these things. يعجبك قوله في الحياة الدنيا. But when you look into the main place, the most important organ which cannot be detected in any human equipment, because Allah only knows, that is the heart. وَيُشْهِدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا فِي قَلْبِهِ. Allah knows really what is in his heart. Or it could mean that he swears by Allah that I am really talking the truth in order to appear more acceptable to the subjects. Both can be true. But وَهُوَ أَلَدُّ الْخِصَامِ. But actually he is a person who just involves in disputes. I have to verify more what is this alad. Khisam is from disputes and quarreling and disputing and provocation and these things. It seems it matches well with Donald Trump these days. إذا تولى سعى في الأرض ليفسد فيها ويهلك الحرث والنسل والله لا يحب الفساد. Allah is giving a definition, is a continuation of his description. So this is about his eloquency and his word. Now what happens when he starts activity on this earth? He starts to destroy the progeny, destroy the people, kill the people, involved in wars and demolition of cattle. These are the source of the food for the people. So while he says I am bringing development on earth, actually he is bringing destruction to earth. He is an anti-poor, anti-development, anti-earth, anti-environment, whatever you want to say, because he is doing a fasad on the earth. And these are the main activities that are bringing fasad, destruction, corruption on earth, through the destruction of cultivated lands and properties and cattle and people. And Allah never loves those who does this kind of harm on earth. And when he is asked, why don't you fear Allah, he is reminded that there is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أخذته العزة بالإثم. He starts to feel arrogant that he's getting this advice. He doesn't like people advising him. So along with this bad activities, he is also arrogant. So these are all ingredients of many of our politicians and leaders. Those hypocrites who just give these media statements but without any value. What matters is your action, not the statements that you give. What matters is the action. People will judge you and value based on the actions and the signature you are making on this earth. And these people, when they are the people of influence, as much as their good deeds is also multiplied, their bad deeds is also multiplied here. From this sense, it becomes very grave sins, because they are dragging with them so many other things, lots of ramifications and implications of their activity on the other peoples when they are people of influence, like the leaders. فَحَسْبُهُ جَهَنَّمُ وَلَبِئْسَ الْمِهَادُ. And see how Allah is linking the taqwa of Allah from preventing these things. In other words, the spirituality. In other words, the attachment to the monotheistic religion, true religion of Islam. In other words, knowing that Allah is watching and more powerful than you. You are being given some authority on earth, but don't forget the supreme authority, the ultimate authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the taqwa of Allah. So this kind of attachment to this supreme power and knowing that someone is watching you, this makes change in people's. Ittaqillah. If you have been ittaqillah, if you have followed this advice by others, he will not go on continuing with this mischievous activity of killings and destroying lands and property and bringing harm to the environment. Ittaqillah. أخذته العزة بالإثم. And this is a very bad environment that our politicians and leaders have created among themselves. They have called themselves advisor, but these are not really advisors. The real advisor is the one who comes and tells him ittaqillah, shows him the real implication. But the advisors of today, they are just adding more fuel to his arsenal, adding more ill advice to continue this killing and harming the environment and this and that. And then Allah contrasts this with the true person that is supposed to be. This is the Khalifatullah fil ard. He is taking care of this earth, the pro-environment, not the anti-environment. Allah gives the description of this person. يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ. He has sold himself for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he doesn't mind that if his body, he gets some inconvenience and sacrifices, as long as Allah is pleased. This is the person. So he is not for his own gain, rather he is for the gain or for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in exchange. So he is sacrificing his convenience in exchange of Allah's pleasure. And that's why you will find him, doesn't matter which palace he lives, what kind of car he drives, as long as Allah is pleased. And that means what? That means he is paying his proper duty towards his fellow citizens of this earth. He is not, so this is just the contrasting. He is not killing the cattle or destroying the lands, rather he is preserving them. يشري نفسه ابتغاء مرضات الله ابتغاء مرضات الله والله رؤوف بالعباد. And then Allah tells us to enter into في السلم كافة, to enter into the fold of Islam, into fold of peace. Kafa, fully. So it's not the partial thing that's the problem. When you take selectively things and leave the other, you will not enjoy the whole thing, because it's an intricate system that is supposed to work in its entirety. I mean, if you take a clock, okay, and selectively choose few parts and leave out other parts, this clock will not work, because it's a concerted effort of all the parts together that works. And then you can enjoy the fruit and the outcome of this machine. Otherwise you cannot enjoy. تؤمنون ببعض الكتاب وتكفرون ببعض. You cannot selectively believe in something and take away some other things. There could be some partial benefit if you but the whole system is problematic. I mean, if you're just bringing in the Islamic finance in a society that is purely secular, and we just wanted to put a small thing over there, Islamic finance, it could work in certain thing. It will alleviate some of the problems, but you will not enjoy the full fruit. You cannot say that this is the society when it implements Islam. No, this is a society when it implements a partial Islam, which is Islamic finance, in a bigger system, or in a surrounding system that is governed by secular systems. It could yield only 5% of the whole benefit. So you cannot market it as a Islamic society then, or an Islamic system. It requires some other angles to it. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, tells us the problem is that in this journey, whenever a person wants to dedicate himself fully to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the greatest problems is khutuwat al-shaytan, the footsteps of shaitan. And Allah has very scientifically and wisely has said that this is khatawat, means steps. And steps means a long journey. So if the shaitan's objective is after 1,000 miles, he will start with 1 or 2 small steps, because he knows he's just giving us bait. Okay, you follow this step, you like it, and then you follow the next and you like it, until you fall into that trap. He's just setting a trap for us, khutuwat al-shaytan, because he is our adu mubin, the most clear enemy. He's a clear enemy, and yet we daily follow these steps, either steps that keep us steps is innumerable. I do not have time to measure it. It's the steps that wants you to be indulged with this world, in terms of the money, in terms of the sex, in terms of property, in terms of gaining position, in terms of killing your fellow human beings unjustly. All these things, these doors of sins, these are the steps that the first few steps would seem very innocent to you, but it has an embedded trickery by the shaitan that you don't realize. So Allah is telling us that don't follow those first steps, which might sound, somebody will come to you and say that why you are not doing this? It's okay. Why don't you doing this? It's okay. One small cup of wine will not harm you. Just leave it after that. But that will lead you ultimately to addiction. and then after that you will involve in illegal sex, and after that, see, it's a whole system. He has a parallel system. As Allah and His Rasul has a system, he has a parallel system, very lucrative one. May Allah guide us. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.